We put in a live broadcast NDI system into Singapore Polytechnic, which they use themselves for the streaming their own live events. But we also feel because NDI as a technology is becoming a lot more popular, not just in Pro AV, but also in broadcast, that this system that went into Singapore Polytechnic, who are one of the oldest, if not the oldest polytechnic in Singapore, is giving a skill set to the broadcast and AV engineers of the future. That's very, very important to give them the best skills. And as we really feel honoured and privileged to be able to work with the kids, Singapore Polytechnic, and give them skills and technologies that's going to help them craft their career. A lot of us here are quite old. We're good. We don't have to worry about where the technology is going for too much further. But for these kids, giving them the tools for their career in the future is vital. So for the people and the students in Singapore Polytechnic, and for Jack for a great project, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Fintan. And I have to say this, it's an honor to be receiving this award on behalf of such an incredible team. It's taken a lot of efforts for the last 2 years that we all work together. It's passion, dedication, amazing collaboration between different teams, and I think that's what we deserve. So congratulations to you as well, and an incredible team there.
One of the awards from today, the NDI award for Singapore Polytechnic. So this system allows Singapore Polytechnic fundamentally to do live streaming, broadcasting and event transmission from multiple locations at the same time. They have a very big campus and they have lots of kind of large events in multiple places. So what they've done is they've built that as a technology module into one of their courses. So this allows the students to use the latest technology in a hands-on way, but while also producing their own content, right? So it's a double whammy. So they did already have a lot of events there. They want to be able to produce more content. The world's changing. Content goes a lot further. It goes to social media, it goes to the web, it goes to lots of places. So now they can stream that content, but more beneficially for the students, having access to the NDI-based system really gives them a kind of a future-proof skill set. So the advantages of using NDI over the existing technologies or more legacy technologies, it's a lot more flexible. So really what we're talking about in a lot of these is the usage of SDI, which was an older technology. It's been around for 30 over years. It's in every broadcaster, but supplanting that with NDI allows quicker setup, easier setup. It's on IP, so the cables are just standard internet cables or Ethernet cables that you'd use on a computer. Very easy and quick to set up. Multi-cameras can be streamed across a very simple network, and it reduces the amount of very specialist broadcast equipment, which basically reduces the price tremendously. So the systems are cheaper to set up. They perform in a way that's much easier to manage because you have much less components. Everything is kind of compressed into the computers. So you have less technical hardware to bring around. So setup easier, maintenance easier, using it is easier, and the output looks super professional as it would have done from a traditional broadcast facility. So you get great content, you get great effects, you get all the abilities to do the mixes and multi-camera shots and all that without all of the complexity. You don't actually need broadcast engineers that have been trained for years to do it. You can train, in this case, Polytechnic AV students over in a semester, and they have those skills for life. I think, Singapore, Southeast Asia has been an early mover utilizing NDI technology. And COVID was a catalyst here. It accelerated. There was a major need for remote productions. People couldn't travel. So I think two things happened really, I suppose. The first thing that happened is broadcast equipment was hard to buy during COVID because there were supply chain issues. So using NDI, which worked on standard IT equipment and standard computers and standard internet routers, just made it much easier. You could deploy complex video production capabilities, but using standard IT hardware. So standard IT hardware was easier to get, actually cheaper, dramatically cheaper as it turns out, and easier to set up. So I think that's really the key part here is they've got onto the fast track of where the technology is going. Subsequent to many projects we're involved with, including Singapore Polytechnic and NDI, We're now seeing NDI being used in live sports. Our NDI football production systems here in Singapore with FAS have been certified by FIFA. So the people from Geneva came over and certified it. So now these are being, we're seeing the adoption in Europe and the adoption in the US. But honestly, we found actually that we were probably ahead of the world a little bit in Southeast Asia. So I like that. I think for our team guys, they know it too. They feel very proud of what they've done in Malaysia and here in Singapore, these NDI systems, because not every time you get to kind of lead the world in a new technology revolution. Wow. Okay, so relocating Sony with so many live services, 60 live channels. These are being, picked up all over India. So you're talking tens of millions of viewers. That award, this one was a lot of sweat. So your problem there is you've got a very, very well-established broadcast facility for Sony Pictures here in Singapore. And then this brand new from raw concrete to a full data center in Mumbai, and you have to build a new system, maintain the old system, and then move all of that content and then the live streaming of those channels on air seamlessly without literally millions of people seeing black or going off, right? Because advertisers lose, when TV goes black, it's not good, right? So the coordination, literally down to the millisecond coordination, because all of these channels they run on synchronized time with GPS time. So you're running a project team in Mumbai and running a project team in Singapore with time differences, training in new people in India, trying to get knowledge skill set moved from the older Singapore team to the new team in India, as well as designing and building the facility in India, then being mindful that you've got a short period of time before you switch off in Singapore. And once you switch off in Singapore, you can't go back. So if anything goes wrong in India, if there was any mishaps, you've nowhere to go. So thankfully, this is what we do. And it all sounds very high risk and high pressure. It is, but that's what we do. And that's why people bring ideal systems in, so we can manage basically intercontinental millisecond precision timed projects. You've got literally international teams of people working synchronized to make sure that all of this transfer is over. To have Sony here at the APP Awards, come over from Mumbai, they're delighted too. Nothing went off, nothing went black, everything went to plan, and you don't know that until you're in a few months, but we're in a few months now and everything's running perfectly. So big, complicated project over years of planning to get it down from design all the way through to delivery and fruition and full live. So they're all on air, it's all working, and they're all happy customer. So we've gone, actually, we went to a few of the events in Singapore Polytechnic that they were using the new equipment to see it in action and meet the students. I think what's very nice for them is they're cognizant of the fact that they've got access to state-of-the-art technology. So what they're learning actually will have real world value when they finish, right? So, the technology space moves very fast. Skills become obsolete very quickly. So it's imperative then, if you want to have a competitive advantage, and for students coming out, that means what they're taught, what they can use, and what their strengths are will determine how fast that they can get out of the starting gates in their career after they finish in Polytechnic. So they definitely have the feeling, well justified, there's a feeling that they actually have got pretty much a head start, because they're coming out with the latest technology, a deep understanding of NDI networks, deep understanding of the coming technology that's here, but it's still growing. So they're on the next technology phase, as opposed to maybe other students coming out and they're learning baseband, they're learning an older legacy technology which has slowly been phased out. So technically they have an advantage, and I think they appreciate that.